Hey guys, before I get this video started, just so you know, the face cam in the corner is just from the gameplay. I took it straight off the stream, and I decided to record this video using just voice. So that is why my face will not be synced up with my mouth at all during this video. Hey everyone, I'm Pacific the Casual Gamer, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'd like to talk to you guys about why criticizing teammates during a match is the worst thing you can do in comms and why you should never ever do it. Okay. Now, there's one exception to this rule. If you know the person extremely well and all the things I'm about to say actually get them to do better, say them to them. But if you don't know the person very well, don't say these things. So we've all played a Rainbow Six Siege match where, let's just say we're having a bad match, right? And you're dropping 0 kills, you're at 2 deaths. Some guy gets on the mic and he goes, "Come on, team. Come on, Gridlock." That's what happens to me. "Come on, Gridlock. Do better. Why can't you do better? You suck." Stuff like that. And we all know that what goes through our mind is, well, if I suck, this person is going to get madder and madder and madder. Or we mute him. I mute him because I don't want to deal with that. The thing that these people don't understand is that it lowers their chances of winning the game. I'll say that one more time. It lowers your chance of winning your match as soon as that happens. Anytime. You could be in a pro league match 0-6 and you start doing that. You just lowered your chances of winning the game. Because what you're doing is when you play Rainbow Six Siege as a normal player, you're worried about winning, your strategy, your tactics, and every normal thing. Guys, there's like millions of things we worry about in Rainbow Six Siege all the time, right? The last thing that you need is to have someone talking in your ear. Not to mention the fact you can't sound whore while they're talking. But the last thing that you need is to have someone all of a sudden start sending negative energy towards you. And also, it puts stakes on if you lose. Not if you win. If you win, they don't say anything. If you lose, it makes you focus on not losing. Rather than winning, you're not playing to win at that point. You're playing to not lose, to piss this teammate off. Another worry on top of the normal worries of Rainbow Six Siege. You don't need to worry about a teammate getting mad at you if you lose. It's like adding another objective onto your goal during this game, right? And it pisses me off when people do this because it's like it adds so much unnecessary stress to a match, right? And what happens is you can't listen because some people are really bad. Then you have a choice. Do I deal with this person's criticism or do I mute them? Either way, it's bad. And I've watched this happen in Siege games. I've watched this happen in martial arts. I was a martial arts teacher and I taught with other people. Whenever you'd have a kid, busy in the middle of something and you interrupt them. Of course, there's exceptions to this, but let's just say I tell a kid, hey, patterns, right? We learn patterns. They're doing their pattern. I say, can you do your pattern for me? I want to see it. If I interrupt that kid in the middle of their pattern, unless they're like, hey, I'm lost, I need help. But if they don't get lost and need help, right? If they can get through their whole pattern by themselves and I interrupt them in the middle of it, and I say, hey, you're doing this wrong, they're going to worry about that along with completing their pattern, right? And it's also going to put stress on them because when is the teacher going to interrupt me again? They don't focus on completing their pattern. They focus on not interrupting, or they focus on making the teacher not interrupt them. Versus me waiting to the end of the match and being like, all right, let's talk about this. Let's talk about what you do wrong. And of course, you have to get rid of the negative tone if you want to talk to this person afterwards because maybe they're your buddy, right? I talk to the kid afterwards. I say, look, blah, 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 work on this. You did really good on this, work on this. And what happens is that kid or that student can then do the pattern and they already know they can complete it. I gave them their task. I walk away and I trust them. I put the trust in them to practice it. And then they can do it on their own without me interrupting them. They don't have any stress of me being like, yo, stop, fix this. They do it on their own. I leave them to it. All right. A lot of people will be like, as a coach of Rainbow Six Siege, I only like in-game coaching. Terrible idea. Don't do that. Okay? Don't only be that guy. Okay? Because in the heat of the moment, adding that stress of coach is going to micromanage the shit out of me is going to make someone perform worse. I literally have watched our old team. I watched the leader micromanage people on our old team, and you could watch them go from being a decent player and go worse. It's terrible to watch. So, and a lot of people also forget that when you tell someone negative, don't forget to tell them what they're doing right. You know, criticism is one thing, but if you tell someone only criticism, then they're not going to listen to you because you're not actually thinking about how they're doing. You're just pointing out what's wrong with them. Someone who's actually good at critical thinking is going to point out the positives and the negatives of somebody. Positives too. If you only tell someone positives, it doesn't matter. If you only tell someone negatives, it doesn't matter. You have to do both, right? And it can't be like you work hard, all right? Your aim with the R4C when you're leaning left is, it needs to be, hey, right? You're getting better at entry fragging as Ash properly. What I noticed was that your aim on your left lean is a little bit, not as good as the other ones, right? And then you go, do you know how to fix that? Or do you have some way to fix that? If they go, yeah, just leave them to it. Trust them. That's what the Siege community, when it comes to criticism of other players during a match, after a match, whatever, that's a core component that is missing, and that I think would, just your 5-stack alone, if you're a casual 5-stack and you want to get better at the game, would do massively better. And if you're one of those people that always criticizes people during a match because Habana didn't open the hatch, this person did whatever, 99% of the time, the reason why people aren't listening to you is because your delivery is wrong. Remember, when you're trying to communicate a message, it is always the fault of the messenger if the listener doesn't understand. I want you guys to remember that. It is always the fault of the communicator, the guy telling the message, the coach. If the student doesn't understand, it is always the coach's fault. Even if the student's goofing off and not listening, because it's the coach's job to get them straightened up, get them in line, right? So that's my kind of take on Siege and criticism during games. I'm personally of the belief that if you have a Siege coach that won't watch videos back of you, and I only prefer to coach in the action, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing at all, because when you watch a video back, you can really sit down with the person and work with them. It leaves the door open to actually help the person versus heat of the moment. They're sad because they lost already. The last thing they need to hear is criticism because it's just going to make them pissed off. So let me know what you guys think of this video down below. I know I kind of had a mean tone to it. I'm very passionate about this subject because it's on martial arts, and it was kind of one where it would make or break some teachers. Let me tell you. So, I'm Pacific the Casual Gamer. I suck just as bad as you do at video games, and I'll see you guys in the next one.